With some physical media starting to come to an end, I thought I'd say, hey, let's take a trip to GameStop, see what they got in stock. And of course, as soon as I got to the store, I went to the retro section. Hadn't been to the store in quite a while, and I was kind of blown away with what I saw here. I was like, dude, a lot of games here. And that's what you want to see in these stores. You know, like, I know retro is not that big in these type of stores anymore, but you want them to have like a nice section to look at. You know, a good plethora of games to go through so you feel like it's worth going. Now, I did find a couple games here that I'll show towards the end of the video. But, yeah, guys, I noticed a big difference, though, when it comes to these games I used to see a lot back in the day. Prices have changed. Yes, prices have gone up for some of these games. And I'll explain about one in particular when we get there. But I really liked what I was seeing here. And I was happy that I was able to find something, because I always feel like, man, I got to find something, to add to the collection that I haven't played before. Or just something that you might get for dirt cheap, maybe. That's one of the big attractions about being a collector by myself. Like, when you find games for under what they go for, that's like, man, that feeling is like, it's like, yes, I saved that money, and I might be able to use the money I saved for another cheap game. That's how it goes. But you know how it is, guys. We love building our collections, because having a library of games at our fingertips is definitely something that we want these days, because the way physical media is going, it's pretty scary. But there are some companies out there that are still trying to put out the physical for us, so companies like Evercade. But yeah, going through this, seeing a lot of PS2 games, that's always one of my favorite systems to collect for. I feel like I'm done, but I always say that, but you always find something cool for these systems that you never known about. And then the PS3, I still feel this is a great system to collect for, and the 360. Just a lot of good games that are still exclusive to these systems. Well, to the PS3, I would say. They got a lot of exclusives on that system. I also like collecting on the 360, but I look for games that are backwards compatible. I really wish that Microsoft would get some kind of backwards compatibility for the new Xbox in the future, if it has a disc drive. At this point, we don't know if it's going to have a disc drive or not. But I look for games that I can play on the Xbox One and Series X that are backwards compatible. Those are nice to look at. Ridge Racer 7, I think this is the last numbered game we got in this series. A very good game that's locked on the PS3. Might have some frame rate issues, but that's okay. And here's Deadfall Adventures. This is like an Indiana Jones, like UK or Australian version. He has a deep accent. Fairy Tale fights. I would have picked this up, but I want backwards compatibility. I don't want it to be locked on the 360. It's a good beat 'em up, though, if you want to pick this one up. There are Taito Legends. Man, I didn't even realize. I thought it said 20 on here when I saw it, but this is definitely a good compilation of games to have play on the Xbox. Very cool. Then we have BioShock Infinite. I almost picked this up because I like the cover variant, but then I thought to myself, I could just print my own, for my game. Killzone, obviously overpriced. I would love to play Killzone 1 on the PS3, but 2 and 3 is fine with me. Those are my main games in the series. I really like Part 3 a lot. Then we have Capcom Classics Volume 2. This one I feel is like actually worth the price. This one was a good compilation of games. I always hoped for a Part 3, but they never got to it. I don't know if these really sold well, but if you see this out there, it's definitely a must-have for your PlayStation 2. Then we have Castlevania Judgment. So this game is one of the games I believe used to be like $10 at GameStop when they were carrying a lot of Wii stuff, which they still do when they get it. But $10 was the price back then. Now it's $24.99, and it's a good Castlevania. I think it's more appreciated now. It's a good fighting game, and the connection to what's the game on Castlevania? The one I always forget how to pronounce his name. Order of Ecclesia or something like that. But they connect together to unlock characters on both systems, I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, great game to have in your system. Don't sleep on it because it's a fighting game. It is Castlevania, and they tried to make it good, and I think they achieved it just on the wrong system. Bound by Flame. I feel bad I should have picked this one. It was $8, but I was just being a cheapskate. I don't know, the cover just threw me off, but I should have picked this one up. Then of course DuckTales, which you guys remember when I got delisted, it went up in price, but now it's back at a regular price that I think is worth it. $20 is not bad. Then we have the PSP and Vita stuff. Guys, when I see PSP stuff, I get really happy, but I knocked out most of this back when it was really cheap. So, I knocked out a lot of the stuff I wanted. It's like, if I see like PSP stuff, it's just hard for me to find something. But it's nice to see, even though the stuff was a bit pricey, and of course, a little bit of Vita here. DS stuff, I'm indifferent now to where, if I need it in box, I'll get the cart and just create my own box for some of this stuff. But they did have some Super Nintendo games in here. Sega Genesis, it had a mix of everything. I thought it was pretty good. Moving right along, I saw a copy of After Image for the PS5. Remember RNG Gamer saying this was going to be rare, or was getting rare about a year ago, but it looks like somebody did like a reprint of it. And then going and looking at the PS4 stuff here, I always like looking through this stuff, but I didn't. Well, I'll take that back. I did find something pretty cool here, which I'll show later. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. That's actually a really good game, guys. If you guys haven't played that, I was surprised at how cool that game was. It's actually pretty trippy. This GameStop really had a nice selection of PS4 games. They even had the original copy of Among the Sleep, which you probably briefly saw right there. It got reprinted with a different cover, but it was like one of those first games released by Sedesco back in, I want to say, like in 2016, 17, or maybe even before that. But cool little survival horror game, I guess you could say it is. But yeah, pretty good selection of games here. Definitely enjoy looking through these, but went straight to the PS5 after this. Got to see what's on this system, because PS5 is the main system that everybody's mad at right now, or just Sony in general, with the whole, discs stop being made, are going to be stopped being made in January 2018. So there's going to be a lot. They're going to be pretty busy printing out discs for games they want to be like physical. Man, can't believe Sony actually came out with that statement, man. We'll see if they walk it back. But anyways, had to look at the Xbox games as well. Xbox is one of the systems that actually been silently like not releasing physical games. They have a certain threshold, I believe. So if you don't want to print out a certain amount of games, they won't allow you to print the game out. So I feel like that's their subtle way of kind of like stopping physical releases. They let Sony take the brunt of it, obviously, by making an announcement, but I think they've stayed pretty silent about what they're doing with physical. Obviously, I think they're going to stop. They're going to try to stop doing it as well, but we'll see how that plays out for them. But I think it was a decent selection of games here, but nothing I was too interested in. But of course, we got to look at the Switch, everybody's favorite system of all time. I looked at the Switch too briefly, key cards and stuff like that, but had to go to the regular Switch. Plenty of games for that system. I told you guys in the last GameStop video, I hate the red, like how that looks, how that bleeds in on the side. I wish they would have did something artsy that might make it stand out so you can find games easier. But I trucked through it and looked for something I might be interested in. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything, but that's okay. I actually found some games for my friend, but he didn't want to. He had bought a bunch of stuff, so he wasn't trying to buy anything else at that point. But found a cool survival horror game called Five Nights at Freddy's Enter the Pit, which is a game that plays like old school Clock Tower, but it's in the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. So definitely a game for people to keep an eye out on. And also, I actually did a video on it. So I did a small review on it. So definitely, maybe, well, you're not going to be able to find it. It's in my pickups videos. But anyways, looking at more games here. Yeah, just nothing I found interesting. So we left this store and we went to another one. And I almost bought this other game here for PS3. It's called Game of Thrones. I almost picked this up, but it says Season Pass disc, and I think it only has the first episode on the disc, and you have to download the rest, but the original Telltale has been out of business for a while, so I don't know if the server's still around, so I'll probably lose on the rest of the episodes, so I ended up passing on this, but Season Pass discs are kind of where things started to go bad. So that was my quick look at GameStop over the weekend, and now I'm pretty sure you guys want to see what I picked up. So, first game here, Baldo and the Guardian Owls. I remember this came out back in 2001, but I totally forgot about it until I saw it recently. This is like a top-down action game, kind of like the Zelda series. It has like a lot of top-down parts and a couple like a dungeons that it's like an isometric view, I would say. But it gives me that what's it called, Ghibli art style, that people like from like that movie like Spirited Away. What's another one? Howl's Moving Castle. Those type of graphics. So I'm surprised this game is not more well known. I don't hear anybody ever talking about it. I was total surprised that I saw this game and I said, yep, now it's time to get it. I did want to get it on the PS4, to support that trophy system, but I guess me getting on the Switch is a way of like taking it to Sony, I guess, since they're stopping physical releases. No, I'm just kidding. But I do plan on getting the PS4 one. That one is just like more obscure, I would say. So I'll get that eventually. But yeah, definitely a good game to keep your eye out for, I would say. Yeah, the graphic style, they got it down. So another game it reminds me of is that one called Ni no Kuni. You guys remember that came out on the PS3, then the second game came out on PS4. Definitely the art style reminds me of that game, but and maybe the gameplay. I can't remember the gameplay too much. But anyways, guys, yeah, might want to check this one out. Stranded Sails, Explorers of the Cursed Islands. So this game, you play as a crew that gets shipwrecked on an island that's supposed to be cursed, and you actually like explore a lot of stuff. You gotta like, it's kind of like Harvest Moon in a way, where you build like, you know, like food and everything like that. But I guess in this game there's some kind of like curse going on to where, you know, you have to escape the island eventually. So I don't know how that's gonna play out. You know, the game seems pretty heartfelt, you know what I mean? It'd be kind of crazy to see it later take a dark turn where everybody has to escape or whatever like that. Looks like everybody's gonna be living fine on the island. Like it looked like a paradise, but maybe looks are deceiving. I don't know, but seems like there's a lot to do on this island. So maybe the curse is that you never want to leave. Like it's like life is so good, like you're cursed and you have to stay there, so you can never leave. Maybe that's what it's about. But yeah, I remember seeing this back a long time ago, and I don't remember why I passed up on it. I think I was playing Sparklight at the time, which was I think published by the same company, Merge, and I just didn't see this one that much out there. But it was right in front of me this time, and I said, "Yep, I'm not gonna let it go." So hopefully, if you guys have played this one, let me know what you think about it. I'm really interested in this type of like game, you know, kind of like a Harvest Moon type in a way, a little bit of action adventure with a little Zelda in it. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, guys, maybe keep a lookout for this one. It's also available on the Switch. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one everybody's gonna go for. Disney's Magical Mirror starring Mickey Mouse. This was the main game I was happy to find at the store. I've always seen this game over the years. I just never gave it any attention, but I glanced at it at the store and I saw that Capcom helped publish it. So Capcom has had a great like history of like publishing or developing Disney games. So I wanted to give it a try, and this one surprised me. I didn't know it was going to be like a point and click adventure type, but I actually like that type of style. So I'm wondering if it's going to be able to keep my attention, which I think it will, because I think this is like a 3-hour game, so it's not very long. But I'm just wondering. I'm wondering if it's going to be good all the way through, because I haven't really heard anybody talk about this game. But at the same time, point and click games are only popular with a certain crowd of people, so maybe that's why I haven't really heard about it. Like some people probably just look past this game because it's a point and click, especially from the GameCube era. But yeah, happy that I got this, and I got it on the cheap. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. And make sure you check out your local GameStop stores. Even though they had that big closing like they do every year, that means they're making the GameStops that are still around like better. Especially the one I went to was pretty impressive. So make sure you check out your local GameStops. You never know what you could find just taking a blind visit and checking them out. I don't know about trading stuff in, but you know, other than that, just take a look and see what you can find. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. The Radical One, and I will see you all later.